everybody, and welcome to Teensy Vintage. This is Teresa, and today we are working in the Square Dilutions journal again. I love this little art journal. It's just a good size. You make a page, doesn't take all day. Uh, wow. Last week I did not go in the studio much, and that was sad. So I just was like, you know what? Go in there, sit down, just start making something. Because sometimes you get stuck, and you're like, oh, gosh, I'm so behind. And then you get more behind because you're worried about being behind. And then you're really behind. So sometimes it's good just to stop. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but basically, I just sat down. I got a couple book pages out of my stash. These are just from an old book, and I had used a gel plate to put this color on them. And they're just ready to go, collage fodder, which is great. Just tear them up, paste them down. I've got my Oohoo glue stick today, and I love it. It just goes clear after it's dry, so if you get messy with it, it's not a big deal, but I like it because it shows me exactly where I've put the glue. Um, and it is really fun to tear stuff up, let's be honest, y'all. So tearing up these little strips, gluing them down, it just feels good. And using two opposite colors today, um, purple and yellow, which it's always good to use opposites when you're not sure about something, because at least these two things will look good together: purple and yellow, orange and blue, and red and green. And it just saves you that, oh gosh, is this a good color palette for this piece? Blah blah blah. And yeah, I don't worry about it. Just leave it as is. So yeah, we've got a nice layer of old book pages, and now we're going to do some stenciling. As you can see, these stencils have been around the block a lot. I love these stencils. I've had them for years. Um, One is the Crafter's Workshop, the round one, the 6-inch one. Yeah, this one right here. I don't remember what it's called, but of course, all of the supplies I use are going to be listed in the description box below. And if you have any questions, just put it in a comment. I'm using some Payne's Gray acrylic paint to put this stencil on our page. I wanted something really big and bold here. That was a definite design choice. This very stylized circle. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Gears, or um, I'm not sure. It's kind of mechanical, but kind of not. I don't know. I really like it. Um, so there's our big circle. I'm also going to go around the sides or the edges of the page here with the little bit that's still on my sponge, just to give some definition to the page. Um, and then I've also got a Tim Holtz stencil that I'm also going to go through with the Payne's Gray. And this one is just kind of a smattering of dots, and they're very small, but they make a really nice pattern. Um, and I just really enjoy using this stencil as well. And I'm just randomly putting some sections of this stencil on the page wherever it feels good. So just kind of going into some of that negative white space and adding in some visual texture. And then going to go and darken up the part of the page next to the spine and just kind of zhuzh it just a little bit, just to give some definition to our edges here on the page, and just adding just a little bit of gray here and there. We'll go ahead and get that paint off of our work surface and make sure everything is nice and dry. Some of the paint was a little gloppy, despite my best efforts. But yeah, just want to make sure it's all dry before I move on to the next part, because I don't want it to smudge. I've already got paint all over my hands too. This was a messy one. That's okay. I had a great time. Now I am trying to bring in a little more color. It's like, this needs something else. I didn't want the page to be white. So we're going to go in with Dilutions paint, I believe. Yeah, let's see here. This one is called Vibrant Turquoise. Um, and I've added water to give it, different coverage on parts of the page. So some of it is very translucent, like here where I'm painting over the stencil, and some of it is a little more opaque. These white spaces that just needed some covering. And I really like the way this turquoise went with the purple and the yellow. I'm just covering up anything that is white space. Just using a regular brush and a little bit of water, not too much. I'm going to make sure this is nice and dry too. Sometimes I'll dry the back of the page just to kind of get it to curl in whatever direction is the opposite of how it's been curling. Sometimes it doesn't work. Now we're going to use our old friend gesso. A little bit of gesso here. What I'm going to do with that is do a repeat of the tiny dots. So we'll have Payne's Gray tiny dots and white gesso dots. And this is just to bring some contrast to this piece. A little more visual interest too. Yeah, I'm going to use up all of this gesso. And I decide, you know what? I think I need just a little more. We'll go ahead and clip down this page. The pages kept curling. Paint just makes them, I think the water just makes them want to curl. It's okay. That's why we have these fun clips. Oh, and I guess I wasn't using the gesso again at this point. Now I'm going to pull out some Tim Holtz paper dolls. This is from the Groups collection that he put out a couple years ago. And I'm just going to audition a few different pieces here just to see what would work and what doesn't. I really like these group pictures. But we're going to go with the 3 little boys who are sitting cross-legged together. And I'm going to use some Distress Oxide and Vintage Photo to go around the edges. And I'm so sorry this is out of frame. That was unintentional. But I just did that to cover up the white edges of the die cut there. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm taking the gesso. Here's where the gesso comes back in. And I'm just putting some down behind where the boys are going to sit, simply because I want to take away some of the distracting background where they're going to be, because I want them to be the focal point of this piece. So just a little bit of gesso put down with my finger is just right. And now we're going to glue the fellas onto our page. And I'm using some art glitter glue. And a little goes a long way. And there we go. And make sure they're firmly affixed. This glue dries really quickly, so don't have to worry too much about it. I just want to make sure that all of it was adhered. Now I'm taking a Stabilo All pencil to kind of give them a little bit of ground to sit on, so to speak. And I'm activating that pencil with some water to give it a nice watercolory look. And yeah, it's nice. It kind of looks like a little bit of a shadow under them, so they're not just floating in the air. Yeah, add a little more pencil here. And I've got a bigger brush, and I'm just kind of bringing that color down a little bit. And then I'm taking the little bit of gesso that's left over and just kind of, making some marks with my fingers around the page where I just feel like it'd be helpful to have a little more white because we took away all the white earlier with the turquoise paint. So just adding a little white back in. And the other day I had gone through an old Hardy Boys book, and I've cut out some funny text. These books were published way back in the 30s and 40s, and just have some interesting sayings. But this one I liked, simply because it seemed to go really well. It says the boys exchange knowing winks. So these three kids, they're up to no good, or maybe they're being good. I don't know. But anyway, they have a secret, whatever that secret is. But yeah, just gonna put a little glue on there and affix it to the top, and that's it, y'all. This has been a really fun, quick page in my art journal. I hope y'all enjoyed watching me create it, and I will see you next time.